I'm Dr. Joe Esposito, and welcome to our podcast, For the Health of It, episode 48. Remember to subscribe to this podcast, and I'll help you naturally get well and stay well.
The information presented on this program is not intended to take the place of your personal physician's advice, and it is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Discuss this information with your own physician or healthcare provider to determine what is right for you.
Are you suffering needlessly? Dr. Joe can give you advice on how to naturally get well and stay well. Dr. Joe Esposito.
Hey folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. So glad you're with me today. We're talking today about supplements and are they safe? And the answer we talked about first part of the show was yes, if they're high quality supplements taken the way they're supposed to be taken. And once again, I got to say this 100 times, I think, because I know when it comes to radio and television, people tune in and out all the time. So supplements are just that. They supplement a good diet. They're not instead of a good diet. They're in addition to a good diet. Now, if you refuse to change your diet, and I get that, some of you out there are not ready to change diet yet, at least take supplements. I take at least Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source every day. Now, if you're on blood thinners, the Super Greens, the Essential Source, especially the Essential Source, pretty high in vitamin K. Now, doctors always tell you, be careful with vitamin K. But they don't want you to stop taking foods like green leafy vegetables with vitamin K in them. You just have to be consistent. So if you're going to take a spinach salad every day, if you're going to have a romaine salad every day, if you're going to have Super Greens and Essential Sauce every day, tell your doctor, Doc, this is my protocol that I'm going to do pretty much every day. If you skip a day or two, it's not going to kill you. And I want you to check my blood and then monitor and adjust my medication to this new lifestyle. And the doctors are more than happy to do that because doctors don't want you to not eat fruits and vegetables. They want you to eat them so that you can get healthy and as part of a healthcare plan, hopefully get you off the medication. Every doctor I know, their goal is do what they can to get the patient off the medication. But many times they don't know what to do. That's why this show is so popular in hospitals. I hear it all the time. I walk into hospitals. You're Dr. Joe. Oh my gosh, we listen to your show every chance we can, and then we sit around and talk about it. That's really cool. It's really exciting that the world has come so far. 20, 30 years ago, supplements and chiropractic care, massage and acupuncture, that was voodoo work, and that was the work of witches, and oh my gosh, don't go there, you're going to get hurt. Now, I'm asked to speak at medical universities on a regular basis. Chiropractic universities, colleges. Will you come out and give us a lecture? Corporations hire me to come in and do wellness programs because they know that if they can get their employees healthier, they're going to get higher productivity out of them. The employees love it. Less sick days, higher productivity, lower insurance rates. There's no downside to you getting healthy. There really isn't. I mean, you'll save money, you'll live longer, you'll feel better, you go to the bathroom better, your love life improves, your breath freshens, your hair, eyes spark, your hair shine. Why wouldn't you want to get healthy? Well, I know why. Junk food tastes good. I know junk food tastes good. It's been, 32, 34 years since I've had any meat, and I can still remember what a meatball sandwich tastes like with provolone cheese on a crunchy bread in New York City. Oh, it tasted good. I'm not going to lie to you. But knowing what I know and what it does to you, I wouldn't eat it anymore. But this stuff sure does taste good. And so you just got to get over that and realize when you eat, your body should be nourished and satisfied, not just satisfied and not nourished. So we're talking today about supplements. Are they safe? And making sure you take the right ones are really important. Now, I do want to cover artificial versus natural. I want to cover that because inevitably time flies on these shows and I go, oh gosh, I want to cover this and this and this, and then I don't. In fact, my producers laugh at me. They'll say things like, I'll come in with, 40, 50 pages of research and I'll cover 2 of them in an hour or 2-hour show. And there's a lot to cover, but I always want to make sure that there's always research out there that I can turn to if you ever, need it. Now, once you realize the benefit of supplements, and hopefully you've done that by now, supplements are vital. We're not getting it from the food we used to get. Nutrients from even 30, 40 years ago, an ear of corn and an apple are much lower now than they were just a few years ago. Well, a couple of decades ago, I should say. And we're not doing farming properly the way I feel proper farming should be done. Are you supposed to rotate your crops? You're supposed to put cover crops in the winter to restore nutrients and nitrogen into the soil. We're not. We keep planting the same thing over and over again. So if I plant a tomato over and over and over and over and over again, every chance I can, I may grow a tomato because I'll throw some basic fertilizer on there. But the nutrients, the micronutrients in the soil are now depleted over the years. And so that same tomato, doesn't have the nutrients that it used to. In fact, I don't even eat commercial tomatoes anymore. If they're not organic, I don't eat them. Putting aside the nutrition and its pesticides and everything, they just don't taste good. Actually, they don't taste bad. They taste like nothing. And growing up Italian, my father, my grandfather's huge tomatoes. Remember, my grandfather had a house in Bud Lake, New Jersey, if anyone knows what that is. And he had a corner lot. He had this big, I don't know, maybe an acre bigger of garden. And he'd go out there, and he had 10 kids, so all the kids would come up, and my uncles and aunts, and the grandkids, and we'd till the soil and plant the seeds. And it was just a mess of tomatoes and basil and peppers, and it was cucumbers everywhere. And he used to grow tomatoes, and they'd come out sometimes 2 pounds, 3 pound tomatoes. I mean, they were huge. They were like pumpkins. They were so good. Oh, my God, they were so good. And after my grandfather passed, my uncles and my father, they were going to try to keep the garden going. Well, life goes on, and it didn't happen for more than a couple of years. But when they were tilling the soil, they hit a piece of metal. And they couldn't figure out what that piece of metal was, so they dug up the soil, lifted it up. It was the septic tank, or the cesspool. It was the septic tank. So these giant tomatoes were growing over the septic tank. Sounds gross. But what was happening was the micronutrients and the bacteria from the septic tank was an amazing fertilizer. Now, I'm not saying you should eat food grown in the septic tank, but we understood, looking back now, we understood why the tomatoes got that big and so delicious, because they had all the nutrients that they needed. And unfortunately, soil today is very depleted. And if we do fertilize it, we might grow a tomato, the shell of a tomato, but the nutrients and the micronutrients just aren't there. So that's why I recommend eating organic whenever possible. Aside from the pesticides, the nutrient level is so much higher. And I've done a show on that. And I know it's on the website, drjoe.com. We did it Is Organic Worth It? And the answer is yes. But if you go to my website, drjoe.com, we have well over 1,000 hours of archived audio and video. And if you want to watch this, if you like what you're hearing, go to my website, drjoe.com. If you have a podcast service, it's called For the Health of It, Dr. Joe For the Health of It. And we have a podcast service there too. And they're different. They're a little different. So you can listen to different lectures and different audios and videos because it's a lot of fun. And I promise you, I make this promise, and I've been doing this for many, many years now. I never want you to listen to a show and not walk away with something new every time. And my producers that have been with me for years, they say it all the time. Doc, I've listened to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of your shows. There's always something new. I said, good, that's what I want. So I digress. But the website, by the way, if you want to order book supplements, if you want to make an appointment to come see us for chiropractic care, nutrition, digestive issues, go to my website, drjoe.com. We'd be more than happy to see you. We have offices in the Atlanta area, Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. All right, artificial versus natural, and that was 7 minutes ago when we started that. The answer is there's a big difference. I've convinced you now you need supplements. Say yes? Okay, good. We got that. Controversy over the advantages of natural versus synthetic, it's been raging for years, ever since scientists, or chemists, I guess, first discovered that the chemical structure of organic compounds, what they were, what vitamin C looked like, what vitamin B12 looked like, and then they were able to synthesize it in a factory or in a lab. When you can synthesize enzymes, vitamins, minerals, hormones, chemical formulas are identical to those found in nature, or so you're told. You're able to manufacture these substances at much lower cost. They isolate them from natural sources. Now, the assumption is the synthetic is just as effective as the natural because they're chemically identical. I did a lecture on this a while ago, and it created quite a stir. Anybody ever read Alice in Wonderland? In Alice in Wonderland, some of the lines, in fact, Lewis Carroll was the author, and it's all about biochemistry and organic chemistry. And it's really cool. It's it's about smoking a pot and whatever, taking the drugs and having hallucinations. But one of the sentences in there, I remember when I was studying organic chem, and it's the thing that got me to understand organic chem. This one sentence, and the line from Alice in Wonderland was, "Can a looking-glass cat drink looking-glass milk?" Sounds like a child's little story, right? The answer is yes. However, a looking-glass cat can't drink non-looking-glass milk. And the reason is this. There's something in the world called isomers, okay? And stereoisomers. And what that means is, well, back up a little bit. for something to be exactly the same, it has to be exactly the same. So my right hand, if I have a pile of right hands, they're all exactly the same. My left hand is a mirror image of my right hand. It has 5 fingers. It has a palm. It has the exact same fingerprints, fingernails, but they're not the same. They're mirror images of each other. I can't stack my right hand on top of my left hand because they don't fit. I can't put a right hand glove on a left hand because it doesn't fit. So they're mirror images of each other. So even though they're both my hands, they're not exactly the same. So it's the orientation of the molecules in space that determine the stereoisomers. So there's something called cis and trans configurations. And what happens is a looking glass cat can drink, let's say it's a right hand, can drink right-handed milk, but it can't drink left-handed milk because it's a stereoisomer. It's not going to give it the same nutrients that it needs. So naturally occurring substances have developed so that synthesizing and breaking down the nutrients all have the same configuration. It's just the way it is. When you start creating nutrients in a lab, the process of metabolism that uses up enzymes and to make it work, the enzymes will hook onto my left-handed molecule, but it's not the kind that I can use. I can only use right-handed molecules. I'm making this up now, okay? When you cook food above 110 degrees, 120 degrees, 110 degrees, depending on the research, the enzymes are destroyed. So you need enzymes to make vitamin C and vitamin K and B vitamins all work. Why is it that you take a vitamin B supplement and now suddenly it helps the nervous system? Enzymes hook onto this molecule and it kind of makes this configuration and carries it over and hooks into other molecules and other cells, and that's how it works. So if I have left-handed and right-handed molecules, because I synthesize them, in nature they're all one type, mostly one type, I start using up enzymes to try to get this left-handed molecule to be absorbed, and it doesn't work. So now I'm depleting my body of vital nutrients. So laboratory-created nutrients, essentially chemical complex ones, especially chemical complex ones, created using by heat and pressure as a catalyst, cause the stereoisomer possibility to form differently. So in a perfect world, I'm going to make whatever, vitamin B. If it's synthetic, about 50% of it will be the kind I can use, 50% won't be. And now my body is using up vital stores of nutrients to try to make this one that don't work, and it doesn't work. And then it's just wasted. If there are several different forms, so it's right-handed and left-handed and half right and half left, it's using up more of the nutrients. So in a perfect world, a synthetic supplement might be 50% usable. We don't live in a perfect world. So chances are less than 50% of that supplement is actually usable by you. It's bioavailable. So I don't like that because if I'm taking a supplement, I want to get 100% of what I can. The other problem is that the synthetic supplements may not only be effective, they can be harmful because they bind up the enzymes and they reduce the digestive effectiveness. And if you have a chemical that can block up a receptor site, now you can't absorb the good kind. I was a guest on a radio show a while ago, a friend of mine, and we were talking about, it's fun. It's called Sparring with Dr. Joe. We have a good time. It's hysterical, actually. And he was talking about hand the bins at the airport were the dirtiest things at the airport, worse than a toilet seat. And I said, well, don't use hand sanitizer. That's what they say to do, because hand sanitizers, a lot of them have something called triclosan, and triclosan is a hormone disruptor. And we kind of went down the rabbit hole, speaking of Alice in Wonderland. And then he said something about, well, you're probably one of those people that doesn't like fluoride. And I said, I don't like fluoride. Because when fluoride gets into your body, fluoride looks like, things that look like, iodine. Fluorine, chlorine, bromine, and iodine are haloids. They look very similar. And so if you're putting fluorine in your body, it can block up your iodine receptor sites and you can't absorb iodine. So now the thyroid can't work properly. Fluorine and chlorine can also kill off the bacteria in your colon. Chlorine especially acts as an antibiotic. And that's why you put it in your pool. That's why you put it in your spot. It kills bacteria. When it gets in your colon, it also kills your bacteria. So that was a kind of something that's similar to a stereoisomer, things that look a lot alike but aren't. And it can block up the receptor sites so you can't absorb the good stuff. And that explains, going full circle, as to why a lot of the studies you might read saying that there's no benefit or little benefit of dietary supplementation, it depends what kind of supplement they're using. Are they using the kind that you need? Or are they using stereoisomers? And how many different stereoisomers? And you're not getting the same results. So anytime you see a study on supplements, you kind of want to dig a little deeper. And the number one thing you want to find out, are they using natural or synthetic supplements? Now, all my supplements, the Super Greens, the Essential Source, the B Complex, the Vitamin D, the Nitric Oxide, the Adrenal Support, the Probiotics, the Seasonal Booster, the Wellness Tonic, all of those are non-synthetic. Now, why would I try to make you take a supplement that isn't something that I would take? And by the way, I take all my supplements. Another issue, we talked about supplements may get a bad rap. Sometimes there's this herbal, we talked about that earlier, the herbal stimulating supplements that men might take to enhance their performance. You can take some of it, and it's a vasodilator, and it works. I have a nitric oxide supplement that works very well for that, by the way. But if you took too many of them, you'd have too much vasodilation, and that can cause problems. And one of the problems is it can increase your heart rate. It can drop your blood pressure too dangerously low. So you got to be careful what you take. So that's why our supplement's safe, absolutely, if they're taken the right way, for the right thing, for the right person. And that's why in our offices, when a patient comes in for chiropractic care, we always offer to do a nutritional workup. And the reason is I want our patients to get well as quickly as possible. We love seeing your pretty face. We really do. But we want to get you out of our office. We want to get you out so that when you get out, that means you're well or you didn't listen to us. One of those two things. So if you'd like to make an appointment to come see us, go to my website, drjoe.com, and we'd love to talk to you and check out your nervous system. Do you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, muscle weakness? It could be a shoulder out of alignment. It could be a spine bone out of alignment. It could be a foot out of alignment. I have to wear certain shoes because if I don't wear certain shoes, I get headaches. Everything's connected. So don't assume you're having a headache. It could be a neck problem. It could be a foot problem. And that's why in our office, we like to check as much as we can on the patient. So if you'd like to make an appointment to come see us, go to my website, drjoe.com. Love to see you. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. And we'll set you up a time to come see us. We'll talk about nutrition. We'll talk about structural issues, chiropractic care. If you have acid reflux, heartburn, burping, gas, bloating, and about 85% of you do based on my studies, your stomach might be pushed up against your diaphragm. So we need to take your stomach and massage it to pull it down away from the diaphragm. And when we do, many times the digestive system starts digesting food normally again. You're able to absorb your nutrients. A lot of the gas, the bloating, the constipation, diarrhea, a lot of that goes away. In most cases. Not always, but most cases. So we want to check the nervous system, digestive system, and your diet. And if you'd like to make an appointment, go to the website, drjoe.com. If you want to get my supplements, and folks, at least the Super Greens, the Essential Source, but the Adrenal Support and B vitamins, if you have an energy issue, that might solve the problem. And you got to stop wearing yourself out. In a second, we're going to talk about drugs that deplete the body of nutrition and certain supplements that drugs are depleting and what you might want to do about that. So if you go to my website, you can order the supplements, also available on Amazon. And if you want to save shipping, doesn't matter to me, come by one of our offices, Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. We'd love to just have you pick up the supplements. Just that easy. And if you order them, by the way, in advance, if you pre-order for months in advance, there's also a discount available too. So that's on the website, drjoe.com, also available on Amazon to make an appointment. So drug-induced nutritional deficiencies, and I won't have enough time to cover all of them today. But I want you to understand that if you're taking medication, I want you to look up that medication and find out what nutrients are being depleted. Because so many times, every day, many times a day, patients come in our offices and I look at their medication and I'll say, Wash, did you know that if you're taking statin drugs, for example, to help lower your cholesterol, that can reduce your levels of what's called CoQ10. Now, CoQ10 is a nutrient that's necessary because it gets into the mitochondria of your cells and helps produce energy. It makes the mitochondria work more efficiently. So many people that take statin drugs are tired all the time. They're trying to work out. They can't build muscle. Well, that could be the depletion of CoQ10. Now, you need CoQ10 to make your heart beat. Kind of important. And so the heart muscles use CoQ10 like all the muscles. And if you're taking statin drugs, it can adversely affect your heart. Wouldn't that stink? Your heart stops because you took the statin drugs to help lower your cholesterol to protect your heart. Doesn't make sense. I talked about this years ago on a show, and a friend of mine, his girlfriend was a pharmacist. And he called me up. He says, hey, Joe, man, he says, my girlfriend was listening to your show, and she had never heard that about CoQ10, so she looked it up, and sure enough, it's in all the literature. It's not a secret. And so now whenever somebody goes into a pharmacy, if they get statin drugs, she'll say, go get some CoQ10. They carry it now as a supplement. How cool is that? So if you're taking statin drugs, Always check with your doctors whenever it comes to drugs, your medical doctors. But I would suggest taking CoQ10 as well. And even people that are tired a lot, if their body is getting weaker as you get older, sometimes I'll even recommend CoQ10 for them. If you're taking an ACE inhibitor, it's used for high blood pressure, it can deplete your body of zinc. Now, zinc is necessary for your immune system. And many times when you get cold and flus around, zinc can bind up the rhinovirus for a cold, for example, and prevent it from spreading in your body. So zinc can help your immune system. Taking blood pressure medication, now I got a problem. Taking diuretics for high blood pressure, that can deplete vitamin D, calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, potassium, zinc, and CoQ10. So if you're taking blood pressure medication, folks, it'd be a good idea to meet with me or somebody who knows a lot about supplements and make sure you're replacing those supplements and making sure you're on a good diet as well. And here's the irony. Many times when patients are on medications for things like statin drugs and blood pressure medications, when we get their diet straightened out, we check the nerve supply to their organs and get the organs working through chiropractic care, they suddenly get better. They don't need the medication anymore. And that's the irony of it all. That if you start getting on a good diet, start eating more fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds, stay away from what I call the 7 deadly sins: alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, artificial sweetener. And then under that would be breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, and pastas. And I know you all said, that's my whole diet, Dr. Joe. I hear it every day. I know it is. That's probably why you're having healthcare problems. So what if you listen to me? Here's my challenge. I want you to do everything I say for 60 days. I want you to cut out the alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener. Go to my website, drjoe.com, and we have under media, there's a link that says media on my website, and you'll see my YouTube channel. And watch the lecture that I did on the 7 deadly sins of nutrition. I want to educate you as to why to do things, not just how, but why. Then there's another lecture I want you to listen to. It's on there too. It's called So What Can I Eat? So listen to those two. One's an audio, one's a video with audio, one's just audio. And listen to them. And then start on at least Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. If you're getting older, B-complex a good idea, adrenal support. If you're under a lot of stress, if you drink a lot of stimulants like coffee, cigarettes, chocolate, tea, I'd recommend the adrenal support as well. Bags under your eyes usually means you need adrenal support. And you might want to consider even if you're eating a lot of cooked food, Dr. Joe's enzyme support. Because enzymes make the world go round. You'd be dead without enzymes. And most of us are depleted in enzymes. So try that and do what I say for 60 days. If I'm wrong, so what? I'm wrong. I lied to you. First man to lie to you? All the girls going, ha, 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 ha. No man's ever lied to you, right, girls? Do what I say for 60 days. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So what? But if I'm right, which I am, then you'll say, okay, now I get it. Now I understand. This is how good I can feel. I had no idea I could feel this good. I had no idea I could sleep 8 hours a night. I had no idea I can go to the bathroom twice a day. I had no idea my love life can come back again. All that happens, hopefully, when your body's working normally. So try that and see. Go to my website, drjoe.com, and listen to them and see what happens. You know, beta-blocking drugs for high blood pressure, coenzyme Q10, chromium, melatonin can be reduced with that. Proton pump inhibitors. How many people have acid reflux? Raise your hands. A lot of you. Many cases, the stomach is pushed up against the diaphragm and acid is coming up into your throat. So proton pump inhibitors are, first of all, not designed to be used long-term. They're designed to be used short-term, but most people don't do that. They take them long-term. It can prevent you from absorbing folic acid, B12, calcium, zinc, B1, beta-carotene. So here, trying to fix your digestive system with the proton pump inhibitors. I'm not saying don't take them, but you're not absorbing the nutrients properly. And then a lot of people get tired because they're not absorbing B12 and the nervous system doesn't work. And I've got a whole list here I can go over. Maybe I'll do a whole nother show just on this. Folks, I'm almost out of time. If you have any questions, go to my website, drjoe.com. You can send us questions right through the website. I'm more than happy to answer your questions. If you'd like to make an appointment to come see us, we would love to co-manage your case or manage your case. Go to my website, drjoe.com. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge in the Atlanta area. And we would like the opportunity to check your nervous system. Stop suffering needlessly. I can't tell you how many patients come into my office, literally every day, almost every patient, unless it's like a recent injury. How have you had the headaches? 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, neck pain, shoulder pain, arm pain, numbness, tingling. My legs are weak. I can't work out anymore. My shoulder hurts. How long have you had it? 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Why don't you get it fixed? Oh, no. Now you know. Famous man once said, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Now you know. You have options. So to make an appointment, go to my website, drjoe.com. You can come see us. My doctors will work with you, try to get you well. We do a nutritional workup on you. If you want to get my supplements, again, at least the Super Green's an essential source, but the B vitamins, the nitric oxide for circulation, the vitamin D for the immune system, all that's on the website, drjoe.com. Also available on Amazon. So if you have an Amazon account, you want to order it there, that's fine too. Or come by our offices and it'll save you shipping. I want you to get well as fast as possible for the least amount of money. And if I can save you some shipping costs, that's awesome. Just go to website, offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. You can make an appointment, and you can also pick up the supplements. Folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. Once again, thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate that. Tell your friends about the show, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks for listening to For the Health of It. Remember to subscribe to this podcast, and I'll help you naturally get well and stay well. You can also listen to and call into my radio show live Sunday evenings from 7 to 9 Eastern Time on WSBRadio.com and on a WSB Radio app.